Here's my review of Rogue Warrior for PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. This review is coming to you courtesy of Lord Chaos. He sent me this game. So, thanks. It is greatly appreciated. Now, at this point, you're probably already wondering, why are you cussing so much, DW? You never cuss in your reviews. Well, this game changed my life. It's developed by Rebellion and published by Bethesda in December of 2009. It blew my mind. It received nothing but negative reviews when it came out, and when I went into this thing, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be as amazing as it actually is. So let's go right into it. Okay, enough of that. I hope you guys didn't expect me to do a whole review like that, because I really can't keep that up. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. This is actually a review, don't get me wrong, but I felt like I needed to do something to make it a bit less serious, because this game is amazing in one particular aspect, and I'll get to that in a moment. You can't expect me to be deadly serious all the time in my reviews, after all. But suffice to say, this thing is terrible as far as its presentation goes. The visuals in particular are horrible. It looks like a game that's far older than it is. It was released in 2009. It looks like something from the very early PS2 era. So, we're talking rather awkward-looking models, really clunky animations that don't flow together very well. There's a lot of almost sluggish, slow-mo kind of things that go on with it where they look very robotic, but the animations are terrible across the board. The texture work is all low-res. It just looks terrible, and the environments are all very bland. It's going for the brown and gray and realistic look, although it's mostly gray. And then you get to the sound design, and that's where things got ridiculous. That's where you get all the cussing. The main character you play as, Richard Marcinko, is voiced by Mickey Rourke, and he cusses non-stop. Almost every single word that comes out of his mouth is an expletive, which is simultaneously hilarious and rather annoying, because eventually it just wears off, and you're like, well, fine, stop talking, it's annoying. And the rest of the voiceover in this game is just crap. You're almost exclusively hearing Mickey Rourke cuss, and that's it. So, don't get me wrong, Mickey Rourke can be a really good actor when he wants to be, but in this particular role, it was just terrible. The sound effects themselves lack oomph. The guns sound pathetic, and it's mostly stockish sounds, things that you hear all the time, so it's like they didn't even put any effort into the sound at all. And there's barely any music in this thing. Be prepared to hear the same track repeated over and over and over again, with some slight variations here and there. So, overall, presentation's absolutely terrible. Except for, of course, Mickey Rourke, but that's beside the point, right? But it's the story and the gameplay where things get very, very interesting. You play as Richard Marcinko. He is a U.S. Navy SEAL, and the guy actually exists, by the way. He wrote a autobiography that is entitled Rogue Warrior. This game has nothing to do with that at all, so don't even bother trying to compare the two. Anyway, in this game, you play as Richard Marcinko on a classified mission into North Korea where he's trying to take out some missiles, basically. That's about it. The mission was to go in and get intel on them, but he takes it upon himself to destroy them. And what ensues is a storyline that doesn't really exist. You basically just run around and blast the living crap out of pretty much everything that's in your way, or you just use the kill moves over and over and over again. You see, this game is amazing in the fact that its gameplay is so fundamentally broken. Now, this is evident from the very, very beginning of the game. But I will try to explain to you in how many ways this thing fundamentally fails. Failure number one. The enemy AI. They are completely idiotic. They have no AI. They don't think. They just run around and shoot. Occasionally they hit something. I played this thing on the hardest setting, and yet they didn't react to when I tossed grenades at them, and they blew up nearby, and of course, what ends up happening there? Nothing. They didn't even notice, and so I go right up behind the guy and use one of the kill moves on him. This sort of thing happens all the time. I've got clips to show you here. They're great. There was one instance where there were two guards talking in a hallway, and I ended up shooting one of them. The other one didn't even notice that his friend had just been shot, and he's standing right in front of him, looking right at him. Things like that make this game absolutely hilarious, where you can go through almost the entirety of levels without firing a single shot, because the AI is so bad, you can go up and just use kill moves on almost every single opponent. What's a kill move? It means you go up to the enemy, you press a button, and you insta-gib them, basically. It's a stealth takedown. And you can just use these in the middle of combat, too. It gets completely ridiculous. Even better, you are invulnerable while you're actually using these kill moves. So what ends up happening is that you can just go up to a dude in the middle of combat, use a kill move on him, and then his buddies just keep shooting at you. You take no damage, and you get to just take out a dude for free, basically. It gets just completely absurd in the middle of combat. And this is all facilitated by how horrible the AI is. Now, the one thing they're good at is shooting you. They can actually hit you on the hardest difficulty setting. So, you do actually need to use cover. There is a cover mechanic. It doesn't work. You can go up into cover, and as soon as you get to the edge, guess what? You're vulnerable now. You can't peek around the cover and then go back behind the cover and be immune to bullets anymore. No. You'll take fire, and it will be very irritating. You've seen my how to fail video, I hope. And in that video, not only does it show you how awful the lighting is, where the light shines straight through your body like it's transparent, but how broken the cover system is. It just doesn't work. And even worse is that if you go into cover, you're actually at a disadvantage, not only because you'll take damage, but because you can't actually aim properly at all of your enemies. So, they threw in a mechanic that is completely useless. On top of this, the guns themselves are completely inconsistent. Sometimes you'll do damage, other times you won't. I can never figure out when the bullets are hitting things and when they're not hitting things, and if they are hitting things, how much damage they're doing. It seems like I constantly went for headshots and never hit. Or if I did hit, it didn't seem to hit the head, or I don't know what happened exactly. This was both when aiming down the sights and not aiming down the sights, but the damage modeling was horribly inconsistent. Sometimes it would take one shot to bring a guy down. Sometimes it would take more than 15 shots to bring somebody down. It just depended. Sometimes I would waste an entire magazine trying to bring somebody down, and it would not faze them in the least. And then I would just go up to them, use a kill move, and be like, well, what was the point of using bullets in the first place? So, on top of all this, you have extremely linear level design. And this results in not only the campaign being very bland and just going through shooting gallery after shooting gallery, but also in an extremely short game. The game itself is an hour and 40 minutes long on the hardest difficulty setting. If even that. The only reason I say it was that long was because I actually managed to die a couple of times, which set me back a couple of minutes. So, this must be a record. It must be a record on the number of complete ups that are in a first-person shooter. It does literally nothing right. Literally nothing. But it does it in such a way that I can't help but find it absolutely hilarious. It was so fundamentally broken as a first-person shooter that I constantly found myself laughing at it rather than getting irritated at it like I should have been. This thing should have been an absolutely atrocious game that left me going, just, why? Why did I play that? Instead, I found a game that was amazing to me. It amazed me how bad this first-person shooter is. I have a new benchmark for how crappy first-person shooters can get. That's saying something. I've been playing them for a long time. But Rogue Warrior is in a whole other level of crap. And just thinking about it makes me giggle. I don't know what it is about this game. Maybe it's just the whole of how bad it is. Maybe it's just that the entire time I was playing it, I was constantly joking around. It was like playing E.T. It was so bad that I actually thought it was amazingly hilarious. Does that affect the score in any way? Of course not. It's terrible. But this is one of those games that you just play it and can't help but find it so absurd, so badly done, that at least you can laugh at it. And don't get me wrong, it's sad to see Bethesda and Rebellion just put out something this terrible. It's frankly insulting that Bethesda charged $60 for this thing. But at the same time, I couldn't help but laugh my ass off at it. It's just so hard to adequately express how ridiculous this thing is. I guess the best way to sum it up is that this is the Room of first-person shooters. The movie, The Room, is so bad, it is absolutely hilarious. It's one of those movies that's so amazingly, fundamentally broken that it ends up being a masterpiece of terribleness. The same exact thing happened here with Rogue Warrior. It is a first-person shooter that is so bad, it has become something on the level of The Room. Something that is amazingly hilarious, despite being as terrible as it actually is. Just because it's terrible, in fact. Does that affect the score? Of course not. It gets a 0.5. It's terrible. But it is hilarious. So I'll give it that. And that's ultimately why I reviewed it on April Fool's Day. Again, 0.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching.